Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 82 golden Trove Beetle locations here in Dragon's Dogma 2, so let's jump into it. So we're going to start on the far northern side of the map. Our first location is going to be right here where you can see our marker. It's right next to the Riftstone of Abundance and by the campsite. If you make your way over here, you guys will see just past the Riftstone, the beetle will be right over here on this tree. Number 2 is going to be found just southeast of our first one. It's going to be right in front of Annie's home on your map. So just off the main path here. And once you make it over here, you'll see just to the right, the beetle is going to be right over here on this tree. Our third location is going to be found just a little bit further south. This one's going to be just to the right of the fork looking shape in the pathway here. And if you come right here to the middle of the fork, what you're going to do is turn to the right. You're going to see this little opening where the rocks are. And I've already accidentally grabbed this one, but it's going to be found right here on this dead log that's right in front of me. So you'll see it pretty clearly when you get here, but it'll be right here on this dead log that is right here. Our next location is in a little bit of a random spot. This one's going to be found in the middle of this cool shape that the paths make, right around where our marker is. If you come right here where we're standing on the pathway, you'll actually see the entrance. You can just kind of walk inside here and you will see the beetle right up here against the rocks. Number 5 is going to be found just north of Martyr's resting place. You can see that location here on your map. It's going to be just off the main path here. So as you work your way down the hill and facing the water, you'll see on your left, you can kind of run up here where these trees are and you'll find the next beetle right here. Our next location is going to be just east of the Border Watch outpost. You can see the exact location here. There's a small little path that cuts off the main path. And if you make your way up that, you'll find a chest as well as a cart. All you want to do is go to the left, follow this path. You'll see a flower here, and just behind the flowers is going to be your next beetle. Number 7 is the other one that I've already grabbed before recording this video, but it's going to be found just southwest of the Gathering of Beasts, just off the main path. This one's really easy to find. When you come over here on this pathway, you'll see to the left, there's going to be a tree that's fallen down. The beetle is going to be right here on the side of the tree, so you'll just be able to pick it up right here. Number 8 is going to be on the northeastern side of the map. You guys can see it's going to be in this little circular area right here, and it's just off the main path. This one's pretty easy to spot when you get over here. If you look to your left, it's going to be on this big tree up on top of the small hill. Our next location is just a little bit further south. You'll see indicated with the marker on your screen. This one's another one that's pretty easy to find, just off the main path to the left. You're going to see this giant hill with a rock in front of it. If you just go up here behind it, there's going to be a tree over here on the cliff. It's going to have the beetle on the side. Number 10 is going to be found on a really small path that breaks away from the main path. You guys can see our location right here. Here's the main path. We're just going to work our way down this smaller path, and it's going to be right in the middle. You really can't miss this one. As you break off to the smaller one, you'll see that the beetle is going to be literally just right here on the ground. The next one is just a little bit further south from our last one. It's going to be off this small path here. Again, this one's really hard to miss. If you just make your way up this pathway right before you get to where the bridge is, you'll find it on this tree right here on your right. Number 12 is once again going to be a little bit further south. This location is going to be just off the path here. You're going to end up crossing a little bit of water. You guys can see right over there. And once you make it over here, you'll find it pretty easily on the pathway. It's going to be on this tree right here. Number 13 is going to be found hidden behind a bush at a campsite down here on the southeastern side. You can see the campsite is going to be located right here. The beetle is going to be right over here. So if you're facing the campsite and the water, right here in front of us is this giant bush. Just go behind it, and right over here on this tree, you're going to be able to find your next beetle. Number 14 is also going to be pretty close to a campsite on the southeastern side. As we zoom in, it's going to be on the other side of the bridge that you see here, right at this marker. And if you're facing the campsite, you'll see the campsite's right over here on our left. Right on the main path, there's going to be a cluster of trees, and you'll find the beetle right here on this one. Number 15 is going to be found down inside of the Eastern Forest, and you'll actually see it's going to be just north of the Eastern Forest marker on your map. So if you come right around here, it's pretty dark down here, so it'll be pretty easy to spot. It's going to be right over here on this tree. For number 16, we're going to head back up the hill and come down on the left side. It's going to be found right up here on this small pathway right before you get to this bridge. There's actually a little cool looking sword that's made out of the pathway right here. It's going to be just below that. So when you get up here facing the ruins, you'll see on the tree right here on your left is going to be your next beetle. Number 17 is going to be found really close by, just a little bit further south. You'll see that there's going to be this really small little pathway next to the campsite here. Just follow that pathway all the way to the end. And once you make it over here to the end, you'll see on the tree on your left side is going to be your next beetle. Number 18 is just a little bit to the southeast. This one's going to be found down here at this marker. It's going to be on the southern side of the broken bridge here on your map. You guys will see once you get over here, if you're just facing the bridge, the beetle is going to be right over here on your left. Number 19 is going to be found on a hilltop just above a goblin camp. You can see here where our marker is. And where I'm currently standing is on the edge of that hill. You'll see the little goblin camp is right here below us. And up on this hill, if you just turn around and work your way this way, in the middle of all the bushes, there's going to be a tree where you'll be able to find your next beetle. Number 20 is going to be found a little bit further southwest. It's going to be right here at the fork in the path. And there's going to be a house that's right here on the edge of the pathway. You guys can see it right here in front of me. The beetle is going to be on a tree right here to the left of that little hut. Number 21 is found down towards the ruined settlement. You guys can see that's going to be found right here on your map. And you want to go to the pathway that's on the very far south side. So you see there's one little path that leads to a hut right down here. And along that pathway, you guys will see up here on this tree on the rock is going to be your next beetle location. Number 22 is going to be found on a tree just northeast of Vernworth. You guys will see right here where our marker is. There's a bunch of little huts. We're going to be just on the right side of this bigger hut right here in the middle. You guys can see we're facing that. It's going to be on this tree right over here. So you'll be able to get number 22 right here. Number 23 is located just north of Vernworth. You guys can see on our map here, there's going to be a small little house that's right out here at the end of this pathway. And all you want to do is make your way to that house. We're going to go back here behind it, and you're going to find this one on the ground right in front of the tree. So you guys will see it sitting right here. You can go ahead and pick that up, and that'll be number 23. Number 24 is found just northwest of Vernworth. You guys are going to see it's going to be right down here on the edge of the water by the beach. If you make your way to this small little path down here, right where our marker is, you'll find this one pretty easily as it's just in the sand right here on the water's edge. You can go ahead and pick that up and you'll have your next beetle. Number 25 is going to be found just north of our last location. As we zoom in here, you guys are going to see it's going to be right on the end of this path here, right before you get to the water. And if you see where I'm standing, I'm facing to the west. And you'll see there's a little campsite over there with a giant tree. The beetle is going to be found on this tree right here in the middle. So I already grabbed this one, so you're not going to see it, but it's going to be right here on this tree. It's facing over there where the big tree and the chest is. Number 26 is going to be found a little bit further northwest. As we zoom in here, you guys will see this one's going to be in the middle of this little half circle here. So if you just follow this path north, you'll see right where our marker is. It's going to be a really big rock on your right. And right over here on the left where the big tree is, you'll be able to find your next beetle. Number 27 is going to be found right over here along the main path. You guys will see there's a little bit of an opening right here. But if you follow this pathway, whether you're coming from the north or the south, you guys will see there's a little opening with a whole bunch of trees and a little dirt circle in the middle. You're going to find your next beetle right over here on this giant tree. Number 28 is going to be found on the southern side of a pond. Over here, you guys will see on your map, you're going to have a little pond with a campsite up here and a rift stone. This one's going to be found on the southern side, right here at the bottom of the pond. When you get down here, you'll see a really fat tree. This beetle is going to be on the ground right here in front of it. So you can come up here and you'll be able to get your next one. Number 29 is going to be found up on a hill just off the main path. You guys can see our location here. On this main pathway right over here on the northern side, you're going to be able to see pretty clearly there's a hill that goes up, and all you're going to do is work your way to the top of the hill. You'll have some goblins over here you'll need to worry about, but once you take them out, you can get up to the top, and this tree right here on the ledge is going to be where your next beetle is. Our next one's going to be on the same path, just a little bit further to the west. You guys can see the marker here. As you work your way south on this main path, you'll see on the left side, there's going to be some trees up by the rocks. You work your way up toward the tree that's right up here against the mountain, you'll be able to get your next beetle. Number 31 is going to be found on a log bridge. As we zoom in on the map here, you guys will see we're going to have two small pathways that kind of intersect. One of them kind of heads north in this direction. This is the one that's going to have the bridge up top. You guys can see where we're standing, this little bridge. The beetle is going to be a little hard to see, but it's going to be right here on the actual bridge. So you can go ahead and pick that one up. Our next location is going to be found over by the mountain ruins. You guys can see if you don't know where those are. The mountain ruins are right here. We're going to be to the west of the actual marker on your map. And right over here, there's going to be little broken bridge things. And you guys can see when we go out of the map just like this. It's going to be down by the edge of the waterfall. So we'll go ahead and jump down here. You're going to have a lot of enemies in this area as well. So just be on the lookout for that. You guys will be able to see the next golden beetle. It's going to be right here. Our next location is going to be a little bit further northeast. As we zoom in, you guys are going to see this one's going to be in between these two pathways here where the fork in the path is. Once you make it up here, it'll be pretty easy to spot. There's going to be a big rock right in the middle, and the beetle is going to be found on top of that rock. And you also have a chest on top of the big rock in front of us. Number 34 is going to be found just east of the Arbor Bridge. If you don't have that on your map, you can see this is the location of the bridge. If you go just to the east on that pathway, you guys will see that we're going to have a really big tree with the roots sticking out. Our next beetle is going to be found right over here on the roots. Number 35 is going to be found along the main path headed toward the Sacred Arbor. As we zoom in here, you'll see right before you get to it, right on the edge of these two pathways, you're going to find the next one. It's pretty dark in here, so you'll see it pretty easily. But it's going to be on the left side as you work your way up here. Just come right up here, and on this giant tree, you'll be able to find the next beetle. Number 36 is going to be found all the way down by Harv Village. This one's going to be on the northwestern side of the village, right when you make your entrance through the main pathway by the Riftstone. You guys will see it pretty clearly. It's going to be right over here on this small tree next to the house. So you can go ahead and pick up that to get number 36. Number 37 is found just northeast of Harv. As we zoom in here, you guys are going to see it's going to be on top of this mountain. And to get up here, you're going to have to follow this little pathway across the river and all the way up the hill. But once you get back here, it'll be easy to spot as it's going to be right over here on the side of this column. The next one is straight up north from Harv. You guys will see from our marker here on the map. This is a pretty wide open area where we have this placed. You guys will see this is the view. This beetle is going to be found on the right over by this little cluster of trees. You'll see it right over here. So you can go ahead and pick that one up, and that'll be your next one. Number 39 is going to be found pretty close by. This one's going to be just west of the campsite that's out here. You guys can see along this path right here. Again, this one's easy to spot just off the main path. As you're following it, you'll see the beetle right over here on the left on this tree right here. Number 40 is going to be found to the northwest. This one's going to be found just to the west of this bridge that goes across the water here. You guys will see our marker on the map right here. It'll be pretty easy to spot. There's only one tree right here in the open. And right over here next to the bush is going to be your next beetle. Number 41 is going to be found on the island that's really close by. You can see here where our marker is. Getting out here is pretty easy too. You can just walk across the water right here, so it's not too difficult. But once you get over here, just climb up top where the giant tree is. You'll see a chest, and on the back side of that tree is going to be beetle number 41. Number 42 is going to be found out here in the Misty Marshes. Now, you can't really see the pathway because it's going to be foggy on your map, but all you need to do is come over here to the right side where the path starts, and you're just going to follow it all the way through. And as you continue to follow that path, eventually you'll come across the beetle. You'll see it'll be on your left side. Just continue to work your way up the hill along the pathway, and you'll see it right over here on the left by the tree. Number 43 is going to be found on the side of a castle. It's a little tricky to figure out how to get up here. We'll zoom in and show you the exact location on the map. But if you work your way to this location right here on this pathway, you can actually climb up to where we're standing, and I'll show you here. The castle is going to be right here. It's not too big, but you can see that on the pathway that I just showed you, you can just easily climb all the way up here and you can make it up top. But once you get up here, before you go inside, if you look over here on the right side, you will see our next beetle. Number 44 is going to be found pretty much in the same area as our last one. As we zoom in, you're going to do the same thing. Come right here to this pathway that you can see on the map, and then just climb up to the castle area. If we get out of the map, you'll see here's the castle that you can climb up to. And once you're up here, there's a rift stone. You want to go past the rift stone and hug the right, and there's going to be a little pathway back here. You just follow that pathway all the way to the back. You will find our next beetle on this tree right here. Number 45 is going to be found at a small graveyard. As we zoom in on the map here, you can see where our marker is along this main path. And right here, just off the main path, you're going to find this little graveyard with a small tree in the back. And your next beetle is going to be on that tree. Number 46 is going to be found on the pathway to the Putrid Cave. You guys can see that cave's going to be right here. If you come right over here to the main pathway, there's going to be a really small one that just goes this direction towards the cave. And right around where you see my marker is where the beetle is going to be. You can't miss it because it's dark in here. And as you work your way up, you'll see it right here on this tree. Number 47 is going to be found on top of a pretty giant hill with a really big tree. It'll be really hard to miss. You just want to be careful because there's a drake that hangs out in this area. But yeah, you guys can see on the map here, you're just going to follow the little path all the way up here and you'll see pretty hard to miss. Right up on top of the hill, there's one tree, and on that tree will be your next beetle. Number 48 is going to be found just south of our last location. It's going to be like you're headed towards the Guerco Cavern on that pathway right here. And you'll find it about halfway down. This one will be hard to miss as there's just one little pathway. It's dark in here. And it's going to be found on a tree right here on your right-hand side. Number 49 is going to be found at the nest above the Guerco Cavern. You can get there from this direction if you just follow this pathway, or if you go through the Guerco Cavern on the northern side, you can end up coming out on this side. But it's going to be just off the main path. You can just climb up the hill and you'll find the nest. We'll show you what it looks like. You come from that direction, you literally just walk up the hill here. And the nest is right up here, and you will find your next beetle on the rocks. Number 50 is going to be found over by the ancient battleground. You guys can see that location here. We're going to be on the eastern side, and if you come right around to where our marker is, you will see the giant gate to go out there. We're going to go right into this little ruin area to the left. You guys will see right back over here in the corner is going to be your next beetle. Number 51 is going to be found up by the castle at the ancient battleground. You guys have probably been up here for a quest, but this is a pretty big castle. You want to find the wandering merchant. He's generally going to be hanging out around the entrance. You can see he's literally standing right in front of the entrance right now. But this golden beetle, you're going to be able to buy from the wandering merchant. So if we can go up to him, if it'll let me, we can interact with this guy. And once you're able to interact with him, you can hit buy. And if you scroll down, you'll see that you can buy one golden Trove Beetle. So you can buy that, and that'll be number 51. Number 52 is going to be found by the campsite to the west of the ancient battlegrounds. You can see I have a marker here, but there's going to be a campsite as well as a rift stone. And this one's pretty impossible to miss. As you guys can see right here to the left of the campsite on this tree in the back is going to be at number 52. Number 53 is going to be found along a main pathway right before you go into a cave. If you're working east to west right here at this location on your map, there's going to be a cave entrance right here. And you guys can see that right here in front of us. The beetle is going to be behind the bushes on your right. So you can see if you go through these bushes over here, there's a big tree. There's the cave entrance. Right over here on this tree is where you're going to be able to find number 53. Number 54 is going to be right off the main path, right in front of the checkpoint rest town. You guys can see right around this location and where we're standing facing the bridge. You're just going to come over here to the right. You'll see that over here on the big tree in the corner is going to be beetle number 54. Number 55 is going to be found just west of the checkpoint rest town. You can see the exact location here where our marker is. You just want to place this here. It's a little tricky to get to. You can obviously see the path that we're going to take to get to this one. However, there's a cave right here and we are standing at the exit of the cave. What you want to do instead of continuing to follow the path, you're going to want to jump up on the right side. So you can see I'm right here at the exit. Instead of going down low and just running through the main path, you're going to climb up here on the right side. I know it's a little difficult to see because it's getting dark out. When you climb up here, it'll be obvious. You'll be able to see the main path that you can continue along the mountainside. You do just want to be careful. You're going to have a bridge right here and you don't want to fall. You can cross the bridge and just follow the path all the way up to the top. You are going to have several enemies that you'll encounter along the way here. But if you continue to follow this path, eventually when you get to the top, you're going to see a tree right here. And right here on this tree is going to be your next beetle. Number 56 is going to be found on the same path that our last one was. This one's just going to be a little bit further to the west. You guys can see you're just going to follow this path all the way out here until you get to about where I'm standing here. This one's a little tricky to get to. So standing right around here, this is what it's going to look like. You'll have some enemies out here. You're going to have a giant rock in front of you. What you want to do is come over here to the left, and we're going to do a little bit of climbing. So this part's easy. You can climb up on this level. You'll have some enemies that you need to take out. And then climbing up on the second level is pretty easy as well. But we need to get up on the third level, and you'll find that you're not able to jump onto any of these right here. So what you want to do is come all the way back here to the end and stand up on this rock. You can see right in front of me, we're just going to run and we'll jump onto this rock right here. So eventually it will let you grab it. It's not too bad. Of course, now that I'm recording, it's not going to let me do it. But you'll see, there we go. We got it. You can climb up here and then you can just walk to your left and then you'll be able to make it up on this platform. And all you're going to do is come all the way over here to the end, and hanging on the rock right here is going to be your next beetle. Number 57 is going to be found across from Baron's childhood home. This is going to be right after you go through the gate at the border checkpoint Rest Town. Right here on our screen is where it's going to be located. Here's Baron's home. When you get to about right where I'm standing here on the main pathway, you're going to see that you can actually just go up on the right here, and it'll be pretty easy to spot. You can see it glowing on the end, but just follow this path all the way to the back. And once you get back here, you will find your next beetle on the rocks. Number 58 is going to be found in the Arbuckle Beetle Forest. You guys can see the exact location here. If you come right around where this marker is located, you're going to see a couple trees on your map. It'll be easy to spot once you get up here. It's going to be on the bigger tree right here on the end. So you can go ahead and pick that up, and that'll be number 58. Number 59 is going to be found to the west of the Arbuckle Beetle Forest, pretty close to our last location. It's going to be right down here by the water. What you can do, since you were just over here, you can actually just cut all the way down here and just go across the water. There's several spots where you can just jump across without having any issues. And then all you're going to do is just follow the water line all the way around, and eventually you'll get back here where you can see this tree on your map, and you'll see this is what it's going to look like. And right up here on this tree is where you're going to be able to find the next beetle. Number 60 is going to be found over by the rift stone of the summit. You guys can see the location right here. This one's going to be sold by a wandering merchant that's going to be hanging out right here around this campsite. A good way of finding him is there's a good chance he's going to be getting attacked by the goblins that are over here. So if you see them attacking somebody, it's probably him, but he's just going to walk back and forth over here. You can speak with him and you'll be able to see that you can buy a golden Trove Beetle. However, it is 5,000 gold. So do make sure that you have 5K on you, but you can go ahead and buy that one, and that will be your next one. Number 61 is going to be found pretty much in the exact same area. This one's just a little bit further east. It's going to be right over here in the woods. If you come right over here on the main path, your good way of telling where to go is going to be the columns here. There's going to be one that's sticking up, one that's laying down. You just want to come over here behind the one that's sticking up and climb up on the rocks, and you'll see that on the tree right here in front of us, you're going to be able to find beetle number 61. Number 62 is going to be found really close to a campsite. It's pretty close to our last couple. If you zoom in here, you guys will see the campsite's going to be right here along the main path. We're going to work our way right up here, and there's two ways you can take the small path up this way, or you can come from this side. But once you get up here, you're going to notice there's one tree with no leaves right in the middle of this really tall grass. Make your way to that tree, and you will see that this is where you're going to be able to find beetle number 62. Number 63 is going to be found down here by the rift stone of Evenfall. This one's pretty easy to find. It's going to be just past this bridge where you go across the water. So again, here's the location. Once you get down here, you'll see it over on your left. You can cross the bridge and come right over here, and on this tree is going to be beetle number 63. Number 64 is going to be extremely close to our last one. It'll be right here along the same path. You just want to make your way down the path here just across where it turns. And once you get down here, this one's a little harder to see. You're going to have two small trees, one on either side. This one's going to be found on the right tree on the base of it. So you guys can see as we get closer, you'll see it'll be right here on the bottom. So you can go ahead and pick that up, and that'll be your next one. Number 65 is going to be found over by the tomb of Renu Labar, and we'll zoom in and show you on the map the exact location. It's going to be just off the main path right in front of the tomb. So if you place a marker right here, I've already grabbed this one, and I'm going to be honest, I can't remember which one of these bushes that it was in, but you guys can see where I'm standing. We're just outside the tomb. It's either going to be in one of these bushes right here, or it's going to be in these bushes over here. But there is one in this little area. I think this is a really obvious one, which is why I've already grabbed it and don't have it for the video. But unfortunately, I can't go back and see it. But it's going to be right here in this area in one of these bushes. This is going to be number 65. Number 66 is going to be found really close by. This one's going to be at a fork in the road, and it's just southeast of the campsite. You guys will see our exact marker on your map. There's going to be one single tree right here, and you'll see this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be one single small tree, And the beetle is going to be at the very bottom. So you can walk up to it. It'll be right there on the bottom, and you can go ahead and grab that one. Number 67 is going to be found a little bit further southwest. As we zoom in here, you guys will see the location. It's going to be just off this main path right here next to the river. And you guys will see it's going to be on a small tree right over here. You're going to have some enemies, so be careful, but you'll be able to get your next one right here. Number 68 is going to be found southwest of the Dark Beast Den. You guys can see our location here. There's going to be a big mountain right here, and you can see our marker looks like it's on the bottom of the mountain, but it's actually up top. So what you can do is come right over here across the river and climb up and just come down here, and there's a bridge that you can cross, and we'll show you what it looks like. You can easily climb up over there, just run across, and then there's going to be a bridge right here that you can cross and get up here. But what you want to do once you're on this side is go all the way to the end, and you're going to see this giant tree stump. If you go to the back side, you want to be careful so you don't fall off the side. There's going to be a beetle on the bottom of it right here. So you can go ahead and pick that one up. Our next one's going to be just northwest of the Dark Beast Den. You guys can see it's going to be right over here on the side of the river. You want to be careful for this one though. There is a drake that is protecting this one. You guys will see in my game, he's flying directly above me right now. So again, just be very cautious of this. But once you get back here where you can see the water kind of going everywhere, if you go right over here on this ledge and climb up, you'll see your next beetle right here on this tree. Our next location is going to be found just east of the Crumbling Ruins. As we zoom in here, you guys will see the Crumbling Ruins are right here. We're going to be right over here on this small pathway, and it's going to be just off to the left side if you're working your way north. You guys can see there's going to be one tree right here on the left side. And come right over here and you'll be able to grab this one. Number 71 is going to be found a little bit further south, and this one's actually located right next to a campsite. So you can use this campsite right here as a marker. But once you make your way over here, you guys can see the campsites in front of us. You're going to have a small bridge right here to the right. And on the tree right next to that bridge is going to be beetle number 71. Number 72 is going to be a little bit further down the path, just west of the Canyon Cave. You can see our marker right here on your map. This one's pretty obvious as you run by. Along the main path, you will see it on your left. You just run up to this tree and you'll be able to get your next beetle. The next one is again going to be just a little bit further down that same path. You guys will be able to see the location here marked on your screen. This one's hidden up in the woods. So we're standing on the path now. You guys are going to see these little statues, or I guess this little area of ruins. And what you want to do is work your way up towards them and go into the woods behind it. And you'll see there's a big tree back here where the beetle is kind of hidden. But right here is where you'll be able to find your next one. Our next location is going to be found just north of the Saul Batal Cavern. As we zoom in here, you guys will see we're going to be on the main path to get up here. We're going to be just off the right side, right around where our marker is placed. And once you get out here, you're going to see this really big tree right here, kind of over the main pathway on your right. And if you go up towards that, there's going to be another tree over here in the back that's going to have the beetle on it. So you can go pick that up and that'll be your next one. Number 75 is going to be on the pathway over to the Dragon's Breath Tower. You can see that location here. We're going to be right around this spot on the path. And as you work your way up towards the tower, you'll come up a set of stairs. At the top of the stairs, there's going to be one single dead tree up here. And on that tree is going to be your next beetle. Our next location is going to be found further east. This one's going to be right over here on this pathway. You're going to have two. You want to come right over here and come through this one. And if you just follow this path all the way through, eventually you'll come across a bridge right around where our marker is. You can see it right here on your screen. There's going to be a dead tree right in front of it. I've already grabbed this one, but you're going to have a beetle right here on this dead tree. Number 77 is another one that I've already grabbed, but this one's going to be found on the southern side of the map right before you get to Drabnir's Grotto. As we zoom in here, you'll see it's going to be just across the bridge here. And this one will be super easy to spot. Right as you make it across the bridge and into the bandit camp, there's going to be one tree here. And you're going to find your next beetle on this tree right here. Number 78 is going to be along the same path as our last one. Right before you get to Drabnir's Grotto, you'll see it right over here where the bend in the road is. Right where our marker is, there's going to be one tree right here that has a beetle on it. Not going to be hard to miss. You can go ahead and grab that one and you'll have your next one. Number 79 is going to be found down by the Hobgoblin camp that's just to the east of Drabnir's Grotto. You'll see our location here on your map. Again, be very careful when you get down here. There's going to be a whole bunch of those hobgoblins hanging out. But once you're able to take them all out, if you come over here by the water, you'll see right over here on the ground, it's going to be our next beetle. Our 80th location is going to be found just west of the volcanic island camp. You guys are going to see right here on our map, just off the main path here. There's going to be a bunch of broken down columns. This one right here, you guys will be able to see the beetle is just underneath it. So you can climb up on the rock. You'll be able to grab your next one right here. Our 81st location is going to be found northeast of Batal. You guys can see our location here on the map. We're going to be right on the edge of the water. If you follow this path right here, you can even come from Batal if you want. Essentially at the very end where the path ends right here, you guys will see there's going to be a rock that kind of goes up over the water. This rock right here is going to have our 81st beetle on it. Our 82nd and final beetle is going to be given as a quest reward from the quest, The Gift of Giving. I will leave a link down in the description below if you haven't already completed that quest. But this is all 82 golden Trove Beetle locations here in Dragon's Dogma 2. Hopefully this video helps some of you guys out. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.